Yo, this is Jay Brooks, and right now you're listening to the Lengthy Lads podcast, featuring Annoying Mouse, the average EAFC player, Bertie, aka the Gaffer, and Azza Gaming. So sit back, make a cup, and enjoy this episode of the Lengthy Lads. Bosh!
Yes, let's get lengthy. Welcome back to another episode of the Lengthy Lads podcast. The mood is a lot less somber this week, and we are ready to chew the fat about all things FC24, EA Sports, and much, much more. It's been a pretty slow week for the boys this week, with everyone seeing the back end of Team of the Year. And the grind's obviously been a little less rigorous than previously. However, we still have quite a lot to talk about during this episode. Now, I'm going to start with a little bit of an anecdote. As most of you know, it's very difficult to grind the game after Team of the Year. People losing motivation because it's quite a tiring experience and lots of people having a little bit of time off. Now, Mouse likes the game and the gameplay and using Alexander Sorloth. Shane is enjoying grinding his Liverpool past and present and is doing a League SBC every 30 seconds. Azza is loving his Torres to glory, and I just play it when I get rejected by my missus. And that is actually an anecdote that's come from Mouse. As you guys know, that this kind of podcast is an extension of our WhatsApp group chat. And I thought it was good to let everybody know that we all have different ways of playing this game, and it's okay to just jump in and out whenever you want to. Now, let's go into our weekend leagues. We're going to start with Mouse, as yours was a very successful weekend league. Talk to us about it. How was your week, and how was your gameplay experience?
Yeah, it was really good. So I broke my own personal record. I got to 15 and 5 in champs. First time I've ever had the chance to go beyond 14, to be honest. The only time I've ever got 14 is when I've gone 14 and 6. So to get to 15 was massive for me. I mean, I started off 12 and 2 on Friday, so I was in a pretty good position to then pump through to get to 15. I only did 15 because I wanted to get the extra red pick, to be honest. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have gone that far. But it was nice to go that far. But again, it helps that I just wanted to play the game. You know, I streamed again, which was great fun, which is helping massively keep my focus on playing the game. And yeah, like I said, I always enjoy the game. I've got my Sorloth up top. He's loving life. And that's what it's all about for me, not chasing the bag, just playing the game, do what I can do, get what I get, don't get upset, as in the words of Nepenthes. But yeah, it's the best way to play the game.
And a massive congratulations for hitting Twitch affiliate, by the way. So,
as well, yeah, thank you very much.
So hopefully a lot more to come.
Wait till you see the emote.
That's going to be the dream. We need some decent stuff to spend our mouse coin on, by the way, though.
Yes, you will have.
So, you know, little things like Mouse to wear an Everton shirt in a stream. That'd be great for maybe like 100,000 coins. I don't know. I think we're sick. Let's do that.
Don't do it.
Azza, talk to me. How was your weekend experience? Weekend league experience.
My weekend league experience was just a massive come down, to be fair. Probably my worst one I've ever had. I think I barely made 11, really. Well, I wouldn't say barely made 11. It took me ages to get to 11. But I was playing very late sort of last night with back pain as well. So I can try and lean on that as an excuse if I wanted to, but it just weren't there. Every year I feel like I have that little downfall in quality after Team of the Year, and I think I've hit it now. So yeah, I'll go through it, smash through that wall. A couple of exciting things in the pipeline video-wise that I want to do. So just keep going at it. Weekend league no longer means anything to me, so it's more what I can do throughout the week video-wise than weekend league now. So that's quite a good outlook to have. Rewards are crap. Stopped at 11. Didn't want to play.
Rewards were crap. Didn't want to play. Shane, I got nothing to say. Shane, go on. You tell me how yours was.
I was obviously off work last week, so I did mine early Friday to try and have another crack at Team of the Year. But I finished 11-4, gave the rest away. Bit of fodder, but no blues. So I don't. I think I've seen people saying that they've not really come up against Messi much, but Friday morning I must have played him at least half my games. So I don't know if I was just the unlucky one, but yeah, he popped up a lot in my champs this week.
I did keep a tally. I made a point of looking out.
I think I only had 2 or 3. I think
I didn't face him once.
I mean, to be fair, he was in every single one of my games.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
For you, yes.
Yeah, for me, yeah.
And how did you find him, Mouse?
I'm not getting into that again.
No, he might. Yeah, we'll discuss his performance a little bit later.
But no, yeah, 11 and out. I got a bit of fodder, but nothing to shout about. But it was a graft. Friday morning was the first time I've done it on a Friday morning, and it was a graft.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever play on a Friday.
Yeah, no chance.
There was no easy games.
I wasn't going to play champs this weekend, as I didn't have time. But because of personal circumstances, I was then given time because I managed to basically get out of my Sunday league game. Not in a bad way. I drove for 40 minutes, got to the game. They had 6 players and then they decided to call the game off. So I got home about 11:15, got my 11 in quite quickly. I think I went 11-5, maybe 11-6. And then I had a lovely coin injection as I managed to get Haaland, a couple of other walkouts. So probably about 150k from fodder, as well as the coins on top of that. So for me, quite a successful experience. I can't say I particularly enjoyed it as much. I mainly played it out a bit kind of out of FOMO. But yeah, it was absolutely fine. No real issues with the gameplay. So for me, relatively positive. All right. It's 83 by 10 season again, gents. We all are going to open one at the same time, unless Shane's already done it.
Shane's going to look for his screenshot.
Which is what he usually does.
Find that screenshot.
Hopefully, one of us can pack a lovely little Darwin Núñez or Tony Cruz or some nice expensive card. The fact Lukaku is 1 million coins is absolutely killing me, by the way. I just can't. I can't even. So, are we all ready, boys?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
After 3, 1, 2, 3, get him open.
Oh, I've got blue. Unbelievable. Coates, team of the week. And Donnarumma.
That's not bad.
We'll take that.
It's decent. You take that.
Yeah, we'll take
Bernardo
that.
Silva.
Do you know what, though? It did panic me because I've just done the Coates SBC and I thought I hadn't opened it. And I thought I was just opening it. I had a bit of a panic, but we're all right. Oh, we'll take that. We got a blue.
Anyone else note?
To get the best footballer in the world, Sadio Mane.
Right.
I got Martinez, 87 Martinez, and Loftus-Cheek in form.
Team of the week's always lovely. I had a nice 88 rated Bernardo Silva, who, funnily enough, is not a dupe. I can't believe it. He's not a dupe, and a load of 83s.
So I had the worst one. Great.
I've got an 88 poop in mine as well.
Hey.
That is
and no dupes, so it's a win-win that pack.
That is some pack. Okay, gents. I want to address something pretty quickly. I don't think it's going to be a long conversation, but I want to get your views on this. A couple of the big wigs in the kind of EAFC FIFA community are announcing that they're kind of renouncing their partnerships with EA and they're not going to be playing the game anymore. One of them I saw today was AA9 Skills, and he's quit the game because, and I quote, because this company got so greedy that they ran this game into the ground to a place that Lukaku sells for 1 million coins on this game. So there's a bit of kind of animosity between him or other creators and EA and the kind of greed that apparently they're showing. And it's happening with a few streamers and YouTubers alike.
What do you mean apparently? What do you mean agreed they apparently are showing?
Well, I'm just saying apparently. Yeah, we all know they're greedy.
But they're a business. It's the thing, isn't it?
So the profit margins they kind of speak for themselves, don't they? You know, the net profit that we're looking at here. They are a business, but they do strip us of every coin that we've got and every fucking dollar in our bank account if we buy FIFA points. As a creator yourself, why do you think they're dropping off the game, or can you see why people are dropping off it?
With AA9 skills, I feel like he does it every year anyway. But I've never felt like he actually cared about his RTG too much. So I always look at I always play devil's advocate when it comes to AA9 skills. I tend not to believe a word that comes out of his mouth. But I think he just wanted to stop doing his RTG because, like I found out quite quickly, and I'm just a nobody in that sea. RTGs just ain't it this year. Like, you know, he's got the nail on the head. It is a little bit harder to choose what SBCs and stuff you want to do. So his effort that he puts into it is almost not worth the reward when he knows he can just go out and do major pack opening ones, because that's obviously where it's going. So I think that's why he's kind of floated away more than anything. Because for him, it is a job, and it is a section of his job. You know, he's got an RTG, he's got a normal account, he's got this, he's got that, as all these massive YouTubers do. So to be able to drop one and also have a very valid reason, then I think that's what he's done, really. I think he's just dropped it. It's not worth the hassle. He can play with the best players on his other accounts anyway. There's no reward in RTG. It's all untradeable, like he said. So, yeah, for once, I'm kind of agreeing with a lot of what he says, but I think he just always wanted to drop it anyway, I think.
So he's not actually quit the game then?
No, I think he's quit his RTG from what I've read and seen. I think he's just stopped doing his RTG, so the rest of it will still be there. I mean, his full-time job is YouTube, isn't it? So can't imagine him stopping completely, but I can see why he's done it.
I think he gets a lot of his money from filming his missus' backside, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
You look at any of his shorts, they're all his missus in tiny little shorts taking penalties, aren't they?
That's his best content.
Agreed, yeah, fair enough. Shane, what about you? What are your thoughts? Can you see why they're dropping out?
Yeah, but I'm of the opinion, if you're not enjoying the game, then don't play it. Like, it's not. It's difficult, isn't it? Because it is some people's jobs, I suppose. When you look at it like that, I can see why, yeah, because we can all see how this game has gone over the past few months, where it's gone to store packs and stuff like that. But I'll be honest, I've not opened many this year at all. Nowhere near as much as I used to. I'll treat myself every now and then, if like on a payday or something like that. But not the only store packs I've opened is through coins I've generated. So it can be done. I think it can be done if you've got the time to put in, which these people obviously have. But if you're not enjoying the game, then yeah, don't play it, would be my advice. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's that untradeable route that they've taken, isn't it? It's if you
they're doing a 20 they're doing 2020 content in 2024. That's the issue.
Yeah.
We don't live in that world. We don't live in that RTG world anymore. You know that. Hence why we've got Evos, right? So, Ryan, you know, I don't spend a lot on this game. Shane doesn't either, and you don't either, right? Shane's been very close. I've been over a mil. You've been over a mil. It's not hard to. It's not that hard. You will get lucky at some point during this game and get a decent pool. Yeah, it will happen. Obviously, as it floats in and out, so I'm not too sure it's coins, but you know, you can. The amount of packs you can untradeable. Yeah, I totally agree with they're saying it's an untradeable game now, because it is. But you adapt to it being an untradeable game. Yeah, if you want to make coins, go and trade. Yeah, go and ask Carlito, who's sitting probably on 7 million coins and whatever else, and he's opened whatever packs he wants because he's traded up to it. Now, you know, he works full time and everything like that. It's not like he does it for a living or anything like that. He's doing it on the side. So it can be done. It's just I don't want to go as far as saying dinosaurs, but they are. They're not moving with the times to keep up with what the content is. Like, as a prime example, with his Torres, he's got a really, really good idea for a series, and he's running with it. Yeah, and it's working for him, and he's enjoying it. Perfect. That's what you need to do. So then if you're also, like with me, I have Sorloth and I run with that and I play with him. You know, that my whole goal is to just go out and score goals with him and go from there. this is the problem. If you're looking, I've said it. I keep banging on about this. If you chase the bag in this game, you'll always lose because it is a lottery. Yeah, it's the same as going to the casino and going, oh well, I expect to win big every time. It's just not going to happen. If you're doing something like Shane's route where you're grinding League SBCs constantly, and putting in the time and the work, you will get rewarded because the amount of SBCs and stuff Shane does, he will get done. Like he said, he can open store packs with coins. It will happen, but he's putting a lot of time into that. It's not just an average thing of going, oh, he's going into champs and he's expecting amazing rewards every week because he knows he's not going to get them.
This is why I would drop out at 11 wins.
Yeah, this is what I mean. Shane knows already that, I went to 15 wins and I didn't get anything better than I would have got for 9. But I did it for another reason. I didn't do it to get the pack rewards because I know they'd be crap. Hence why, on a weekly basis, I don't share my champs rewards because they're crap every week. Yeah. But I'm okay with that because it's not why I play the game. So...
That's another reason why I've always ran my main team and kept like a Liverpool past and present. And like this week, I've jumped into using that now because it just keeps it a bit more interesting when I get a little bit bored. Like this new promo doesn't really appeal to me much, so this week I've not really grinded League SBCs anywhere near as much. Probably half of what I usually do, just because I don't. I mean, the one card I'd want would be Nunes, but it's highly unlikely I'm going to get him because of his price, and he's obviously going to be rare. But that's the only reason I'd still be grinding a little bit. But yeah, this week for me, I'm just not really that interested in.
No, I think you're right. Someone actually, I was talking about on Twitter earlier about Sorloth, and someone showed me their team, and they've done a full Norway Evo team, apart from the goalkeeper, obviously, to surround it with. And I was like, I should have done that. Like, I should, from next year, if Evos are around, everything like that, that's something that I'm going to look to and do next year because it's a good way of keeping a team together. And, the cards were good. Like with the past and presents, you've even got Quartes who's come out today, who's just a really good card. But, he fits into the Liverpool P&P as well. Unfortunately, I've buried a lot of my cards from that, unfortunately.
A lot of people commented on it as well with theirs. Like, there's so many people that do it. There was a dude who had a Dortmund one, and just because they all had the yellow Dortmund shirt, and it looked incredible, like the special cards with all the yellow tops.
Yeah. I think the main people like that are falling out of love with the game and stuff like that. Yes, I get the store packs, everything like that, but there is a massive trend. I've been trying to hunt out TikToks today because that's my normal pleasure to go and find information. But a lot of these videos where they go, the game's shit, but everything like that, pretty much start off within the first 10-20 seconds is EA doesn't make you feel rewarded. Every single video, whenever it's mentioned about this game being shit, one of the lines is always, EA doesn't make you feel rewarded. Now, like I said to you, I don't play the game to get rewarded, but, I've played a lot of games in my past where I haven't played it to be rewarded. GTA. Like, a lot of people, especially our sort of age, just put so many hours into GTA because it's a fun game to play and we found a way to have fun with it. Yeah. Call of Duty, again, I've said it before on the pod that I play that to get my KD better and just to have fun. But this is the whole mantra. I think it's probably EA's fault, to be honest, because they do have the reward system that we're kind of programmed to go, we need to be rewarded to play the game. If you play it that way, like I said to you, you will fall down because it's not a rewarding game. Shane says it enough times that it isn't a rewarding game, and I 100% agree that it isn't a rewarding game. So it is thanks to Safi when he came on the pod and he did speak to us, and that I did change my mindset, and that's how I have fun in this game all the time. I play it way more than the other three, and and I really do enjoy the game. So it's not just me sucking EA's ass because I'm not going to do that because I don't agree with everything they do, but I'm in a place that I enjoy the game. So I'm the one that's winning because I enjoy the game. Whereas there's a lot of people out there that are playing this game still chasing to get rewarded because that's how they've been bred into this game to play it. And it's changing mindset. You'll change your gameplay.
People seem to have this strange opinion as well that if you just chuck a load of money at the store, you're going to have an amazing team, which isn't the
Drives
case.
me mad.
No.
Yeah.
Not the case at all.
It's not.
You still need
No.
to get lucky. You could open
No.
pack after pack from that store and get nothing.
Exactly. My mate opens all the big store packs every week. I've opened 2 all year on stream. Got R9. He spent hundreds and hundreds of pounds on it. I've spent 40 quid, I think, that day to get those 2 packs. It's like chucking money at it ain't gonna solve anything. It's like we said, it's gambling. It is. It's massively gambling, and it is like you said. It's not a rewarding game, and Champs is supposed to be rewarding. Obviously, it has a reward system, but it's not rewarding enough for those top players either. I think AA9 Skill said it in his video. He went 20-0 back to back on an RTG and made like 90k and 100k each week. And it's like, it's hard not to get deflated by the rewards when you're going 20-0. I feel like when you're in that middle ground, when you're in that middle ground, you're like, I'm having a good time. Rewards are crap, but I don't expect anything. When I'm hitting 20-0, I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, you should be guaranteeing me something.
I've said this before on here about my brother. I think my brother could comfortably get 17, 18, maybe more.
Yeah.
But he just stops at 11 because it's not worth it. It's not worth sweating to that many wins.
It's that average Joe middle bracket. It's really from 11 to 16 even. It's just an extra 85, an extra 1 or 2 85s. Just what's the fucking point? We used to get Bright out of a pack and stick her in an SBC at the end of the day. Yeah, it's just not rewarding enough.
I think that it must be quite difficult as a kind of full-time content creator to come up with these different ideas and then not feel particularly rewarded from it as well. So you might like your idea is a class idea, and I'm really enjoying the series, and I know there are a lot of other people that are. But if you were doing it as your full-time job and you weren't getting rewarded for it, or you weren't particularly seeing that the kind of the benefits, I guess, of it from a monetary value or monetarily or however you want to look at it,
exactly.
Alongside not really enjoying it, you can see why people are just going, nah, fuck this, I can't be bothered.
Drop it in a heartbeat, wouldn't you?
I do, but then that's your problem. Like, at the end of the day, that's you not creating the right content.
Yeah, because you can obviously see though whether somebody enjoys the content they're creating or not. That's
100%.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
So if you were watching an Nepenthes video and he isn't really into it, and you can just see he's a bit like blasé, and you're just like, this is an 83x10, is 6 PM content, then you're not going to be invested in that content whatsoever.
No.
Azza, in his latest video, went fucking crazy at getting a fresh Trent. He bought a fresh Trent off the market and was like, yes, I got a fresh one, come on. And you can see that he's buzzing about it. But then you're more invested in the content, which then would mean that your viewers are more invested in content, and therefore you're going to enjoy it way more than say you would if you're not fucking getting much out of it, if that makes sense. So yeah. It's just really interesting that there are some of the big wigs that are really kind of flying off the handle with regard to FC24, and we're only a tiny little podcast that gets 200 listeners a week, and if we can enjoy it, then if you're getting paid to do it, fuck me, try and find some way of enjoying it, please, because I'd love your job. I'd absolutely love your job. Put it that way.
I think they have issues as well with the fact of TikTok. Obviously, like I said, I love a good TikTok, but there's so many idiots that create on TikTok around this game, and it drives me insane at times. So, like I haven't done any player reviews for a little while now. Just down to the sheer fact is, one, they seem to be disappearing, but two, we've bred this whole theory's been bred into us now that unless you're a pro, your opinion doesn't matter. You're dead.
Yeah.
You're dead to everyone, right? So, like Nepenthes, he did a TikTok. I watched it earlier, right? So he's magically discovered this shot from the corner of the penalty area, which anyone that's ever watched me knows that's exactly how I score with Sorloth all the time. There's a cross goal shot because it bends into the top corner. Okay, so he's just now discovered this, but the first comment on there is, I won't be taking advice off someone that gets 11 to 14 wins. I stick to copying the pros. It's the top comment on the video, right? But and then he even doubled down, and he was like, I listen to 30 plus pro opinions on meta things. If they aren't using this shot, I won't be.
All right. Well, if you're worried about meta in the pros, go and put your goalkeeper right in the corner of the goal every single time someone has the ball. Then,
Exactly.
And then let's see whether you win games, because that's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, but this is what I mean. This is the thing that's been being bred into the community, especially this 4-3-2-1 formation that every I see the TikToks of that brand that was Brandon Smith, and he goes around, what formation you using? Just don't do those fucking videos, because it's the most boring thing was, I use 4-3-2-1.
I hate that formation.
Every single one of them, because it's broken, right? But the issue is, I'll take this back to, right, I used to play golf at a very good level, okay? I played off a 4 handicap. Anyone that plays golf knows it's pretty good. But I couldn't then go and use, say, Tiger Woods' golf clubs. I couldn't go and use them because they're not set up for me, and they're at a too high a level for what I'm at to use effectively. That's exactly the same with these, with tactics. So the tactics are set up because they're pro players to know exactly what you're doing. If I'm using them, I'm not going to go 20-0. Yeah, I'm probably going to get 11 wins, because I'll probably get 11 wins with whatever formation I use if I'm happy with it. But people think it's, you're going to magically, because you're copying a pro, you're magically going to get better at the game. Now, I wasn't going to talk about this, but Shane actually brought it up earlier about Alex B, wasn't it? He was saying about the fundamentals of the game. You need to get better at the fundamentals of the game, and I totally agree that you do need to get better at the actual mechanics of the game, because you won't get any better. You could have whatever you want. You could have the best team in the game, and you still won't win all your games because you haven't got the basics there.
Yeah,
I do agree that tactics can enhance your experience. Yeah, I've gone to 15 this week. It might just be that there was a worse player base playing the game. I don't know, but again, I'll try again. But it's being bred that the pros are the ones to listen to. The pros aren't the ones to listen to. If you're getting 11 to 14 wins a week, listen to 11 and 14 win players. Or
stay within your zone.
Yeah, stay within your zone. Or go to a 16-win player who's slightly above you, who might have some ideas. But if you don't skill whatsoever, so I don't skill whatsoever, so I'm not going to go and watch someone who's a high-skilling player and go, oh, yeah, I'm going to copy you, because I'll get slaughtered.
Nobody's really... no one's clicked on, but I've used pretty much a different formation or tactic, whatever, every week now for the past 2 months, and I get the same result.
Exactly. It'll always even itself out. It will. And like you said, it's only going to make a difference for those elite people, those top 1% people, those guys where they're almost identical to each other because they all know how to exploit the game. They all know what systems to use. They all know this. So those tiny little differences do make a difference for them. And they're not going to make as big a difference for me as it is for them. It's same way the financial advice that fucking Jeff Bezos would give me on how to spend my 24 hours in a day are not going to fucking help me whatsoever. But they might help someone that's a little bit closer to him in terms of career and net worth. It's daft.
Yeah, I'm similar to Shane. I've used a hell of a lot. I do a lot of testing for Div 10 as well, and I try all these different formations. And yeah, like I said, last week's the one that I went a lot further than I have done. But I've been enjoying the game, and it's quite nice to use different formations to see how they work and stuff like that, because that, to a certain point, that will make me better because it's making me play in slightly different ways. So I'm learning more to not use R2, which is my biggest downfall is using the sprint button. Always has been, and it's and using some of these other formations is stopping me from using it. So yeah, that is improving my experience. So, but again, I'm still in that bracket that I was of 11 to 14. I'm still in that bracket, but I'm not. Yeah, probably the only difference is that I'm going, say, 11 and say if I'm going 11 and 5 rather than going 11 and 8. Yeah, so there's probably a couple of games swing, but again, it takes a little bit of getting used to it. There is no miracle. There's no miracle cures. Div 10 will say this if you ask him that I've tried some of his formations and I've told him I don't like them and I don't get on with them. Yeah, and I haven't used them. So it's not like, there's no magic cures in all of this. It's, get better at the basics and just learn to have fun.
When you know you're not playing well, what's the first thing you do? You calm it down and you do the basics right again, and you go, but you hit that refresh button and you go back to basics, and then you go from there, and that's the key.
It's just like you were doing real sport, isn't it? It's exactly what you were doing.
Any
exactly what you were
life.
doing if you were playing golf or whatever you were doing. Go back to basics.
You know what? I'm gonna. It's just made me think of something. Right, I'm gonna do a starting this weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna pin it to my Twitter. I'm gonna use every single formation every week.
Do it, man.
With default tactics and put my record and add to it.
Yeah.
What, you could, to be fair, why don't you just pick 20? Pick 20 of the formations to do every game different formation.
Yeah, that you could do that.
You could do that.
I don't think that gives a true reflection, does it? Because when you start
I suppose,
winning,
because you need to get used to it.
it gets harder, doesn't it?
You could do like 2 formations per weekend league.
Yeah, you could do 10 and 10.
10 and 10.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if I did like 4-4-2 my first 10 and went 9-1, my next 10 games after that are going to be a
fucking
harder.
nightmare. Yeah, good.
Yeah, true.
Well, maybe do one each week then. It's a good idea.
I'm going to record it for each one.
Well, that'll keep you till the end of FIFA, mate, because there's like 30 formations. That's you sorted for the rest of. That's your champ sorted for the rest of the game.
That's that spark as well, isn't it? That's keeps you
look
playing.
at this. Shane's looking at ways of keeping the game nice and interesting for him.
Well, Shane will get to 4-2-2, and that'll be it. It'll be on it.
Yeah, 20-0.
It'll be 20-0 that week.
So how about the road to the final, road to the knockout, whatever promo we've got at this very moment in time then, gents? I love a dynamic card. I love the thought of a live card. I like having them in my club. But in my opinion, I don't really understand why we've got this promo now. I feel like this promo should be done a little bit later on, closer to when the cards can be upgraded. I think the prices of these cards are absolutely ludicrous, but maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it. I just feel like it's just a bit meh. Let's put it that way. It's a bit meh. Let's go for Mouse. What are your opinions on this promo? I was going to say promotion then. It's not on this promo.
It's ridiculous. So I said this earlier that. So road to the knockouts, fair enough, right? So we get it in whatever we had it, October or whenever it was, or maybe mid-November. But the life cycle of those cards is just over a month. Yeah, a month and a half. Okay, that's fine because they'll fit in nicely. These cards are not. These cards won't fully upgrade for 4 months. Why do we want a 86 David Neres that's going to go to a 90 rated in June if they win the tournament? What's the point? Like, literal 0 point in it. I've just looked at Rafa Leao. I didn't realise it was 3.7 million coins. Like, my head's exploded. I can't even fathom that card's 3.7 mil.
You hate him. You hate his goal.
I hated his card anyway, but Ansu Fati's 1.6 million. Like,
he's playing for Brighton.
I can't.
I love it.
It just seems ridiculous, and I get it, right? So I think some of it, what people have seen. See, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I did mention it in the group chat that if they win the final, is it final or get into the final? One of the two, to get an extra play style. So that also screams already that it will be triple play styles at some point, whether it's pre that. I'm presuming TOTS will land with 3 play styles, I would have thought. There's a few guys agree, but I would imagine
there's Evos with 4, aren't there, at the minute?
Yeah, that's what I mean. But as an actual standard, I think we'll drop into 3, and then probably end game will probably be 4. I would have thought. But so whether people are hanging on to that, but I mean, 1 point whatever it is for that Nunes card. I mean,
I bet it plays like shit.
There's an Evo that's level with this card, and there's no saying that there's not going to be another Evo to take it beyond what the 92 could be anyway. We've got another, like I said, we've got 4 months before this promo completely finishes, which it needs scrapping. Like I said, I like the live cards. I do agree with that. I like the live cards, but over a 2, 3, even 4 week at a max, but not for 16 weeks.
Way too long.
Like that card, if I pack one of these cards, the likelihood of it still being in my club in June is pretty slim, because it will be in it will go in an SBC of some description along the way. Just because it's not, it needs scrapping. I agree. But also don't use the same players. So I highlighted this earlier, the fact that Saka's got a road to the knockouts card that's 91 rated, but he also has a team of the group stage which is 91 rated, and it has 16 different in-game stats more, which just and it's 400k more expensive for a start. It just pointless. Just don't do it. Absolutely pointless.
Azza?
Much like I said last year, I don't think it's a good promo. It's like Mal said, it's just far too long. It's not worth it. They always go sky high because everyone's like, oh, look at the card that it could be eventually at the end. And, Martinelli last year, I packed Martinelli, he was going for like 2 mil. And everyone's like, oh, look how good he's going to go. Look how good he's going to go. And, only 2 of those cards really, or 3, are actually going to get that good. And the cards themselves that have come out, I don't really think they're that great, to be fair. They're names that people are hanging on to from kind of last FIFA and FIFAs before, like nostalgic names with Leao and Lukaku and Kroos and stuff. It's a filler promo, but it's the same with every EA promo, isn't it? We get X amount of cards, 3 of which will be really good, and then the rest will just be 40k within a week. And then it'll come with a crappy evolution that's way behind the power curve. And you'll pack 1 or 2 of them throughout the whole promo. So it's the same old recycled bullshit. It's just far too long. I would have preferred fantasy. If we were going to do a live promo now, something like fantasy, which was spread out over a couple of weeks, or Thunderstruck would have been much better. This is just way too long into the future. I mean, I probably won't even be as invested in the game by the time these cards can be the best versions of themselves. So
yeah,
why should I invest now?
I really enjoyed, remember the What If promo that was that was like last year or the year before? I really enjoyed the What If promo. I had Chris Smalling. I packed Chris Smalling out of an 84/20, and he was in my team for ages. And that's the type of promo I like, just with some decent cards that could be upgraded, that don't start off at 86 rated. Maybe make them harder to pack, but make them all a bit higher rated so they can actually get in people's teams. Because if you look at the state of people's teams at the moment, there are not many of this lot that are going to get anywhere near it.
Well, nowhere.
And there aren't really many there that I'm that bothered about trying out either. So if I've got that Nico Gonzalez or whatever his name was, I'm never going to play him. So he's fodder. And that's it. Or he sits in my club, and we'll see if he gets any upgrades. Shane, what about you?
Yeah, like I said earlier, this week I'm chasing Nunes. I've had a couple. I've had the PSG women centre back. I've had Emerson, the left back from West Ham. But but I just find it's the same with every promo. There's 1 or 2 good cards you'd love to have. The rest are just pack fillers. It just doesn't surprise me. I just find that that's always the case. And then ones that you want are always the most expensive and harder to get. But yeah, I'm interested by the next promo, because I think this one's only a week long, which I prefer. I don't like when they drag it out for 2 weeks.
Is it
it's too samey, isn't it?
Stars,
like we've experienced
it. Yeah.
Future Stars,
yeah. It's Future Ryan ruining my fucking no leak policy.
I'm hoping for a leaked Conor Bradley that has a leaked.
Oh, that's just a prediction, but
I know,
yeah. I haven't leaked shit, mate.
You're working with Flowsy doing cards. Don't talk shit, mate.
Yeah, they're all predictions.
Yeah, I didn't know it was fucking coming, did I?
Oh, well, neither did I, to be fair, until he fucking asked me, to be fair.
One thing I'll say about this Road to the Final promo is you can tell how little they care. The cards are the same design as they were last year. They've not changed.
It's not changed them.
They're the exact same design. And if that doesn't make it feel tired and samey and boring, I don't know what will. Give us a new. If you wanted to make something live or whatever, just give us a new concept. Give us a promo that, if we pack a player from said promo and we get 50, 100, 150, 200 assists with him, then they upgrade that way. And, I could have a better one.
My thoughts with that, Azza, is the fact that I'd imagine they're governed by what UEFA say, because don't forget, I'd imagine that matches perfectly with the
that makes sense.
The competitions. I'd imagine that's probably why. But they can still change the actual physical design of the card, as long as they keep the fucking weird shit.
Yeah, exactly. They're the exact same. It's pathetic.
A promo like this, you should have an Evo where you can choose a player from the club, as opposed to them.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Too right.
You can put your own promo card in.
Evo can go up as they progress instead of using the same players all the time.
Yeah, so you could create your own promo card in essence, not make it stupid, but that's a good idea. Even so say you could have for every promo that, like we've got with the Red Skin, why couldn't we earn one each week where we can make one of our cards into the current promo card?
Like for Liverpool, for example, obviously not the likes of Salah and stuff because but someone like Curtis Jones to make him usable.
Yeah.
Someone like that doesn't need to be a high rated, but someone that you could use and make high rated as they progress.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd really like it if they did one for like the FA Cup or I don't know, something a little bit out there rather than always the Champions League, the Europa League, the UEFA Cup, whatever it's called.
I suppose it's licensing. I suppose.
Yeah,
it'd
be really nice to do some with like lower league players that could then be usable in game. So
you could have some Leeds players.
Yeah, so I could have some fucking decent Leeds players that aren't all Evos. Like, if Archie Gray doesn't get a future stars, I will actually be upset because, in my opinion, he deserves one. Just like you guys would be annoyed if Bradley doesn't get one because after his performances in the last 5 games, like Jesus Christ, he's going to be incredible. But it would just also kind of build everybody's kind of knowledge of the lower leagues and teams like Northampton Town and things like that might get a promo card, which would actually be pretty decent to use in my opinion. But just something a little bit different in that sense, rather than always focusing on the massive teams that are out there. And what's the point in having those players in the game if you're not going to bother using them? Now, boys, there's been a lot of rumbling on social media regarding the meta and how if you use a certain card or specific cards, you are going to be in a certain ability bracket or division in Rivals, la-di-da-di-da. And I think that it's something that we need to kind of address. And it kind of grinds my gears a little bit that opinions of other people are always seen as wrong. And you can't just use a player because you work with that player or that player works with you. So I want to give you guys your say about that. Come up with some ideas as to players that you're using that you don't believe that other people will be using or might not get the best out of. And then we'll play a little game. Thank you to Shane for the name of this because I couldn't come up with one. So we're going to play Hit or Shit. And we're going to have 2 players, one of which is exhibiting fraudulent behavior that you believe is pretty shit, and one that you believe is a non-meta card or a card that isn't going to be out there as much, that you believe is a hit or is a hit for your team. We'll start with Az. What do you think?
In terms of fraudulent little gimps, Alphonso Davies is right up there on my list. I've seen him in, perfect example. Every pro was using Alphonso Davies, and everyone on Twitter. If you don't like Alphonso Davies, then there's a skill issue. You're a Div 10 merchant. You only get 5 wins in weekend league apparently. But I would much rather base Mendy over Alphonso Davies every single day of the week because I like my defenders to not get blown over with a little breeze or just barged over whenever someone goes near them. But some people like to attack with their defenders. I can do both with Mendy. I can do everything any other left back can do with base Mendy. He fits me like a glove, but he might not work for someone else, which is why I think Alphonso Davies is really fraudulent. And if I didn't do him, I probably could have took a massive wedge out of Eusebio And who knows, I could have been complaining about Eusebio instead of him, but he is very fraudulent for me. He's up for eviction at the moment.
And who's been a hit for you that you believe other people aren't really using very often?
Do you know what? There's been a few of them. And it would have to be either Brahim Diaz or Paulo Futre base. And I'd probably go more with Brahim Diaz because I imagine people have Futre from the picks and stuff. Whereas I think Brahim probably wasn't a widely completed SBC. But he's phenomenal. He's got no playstyle plus. He's got the most average stats you're going to look at. And yeah, I absolutely love him. I finish better with him than I finish with R9. And that is like one of the biggest compliments that I can give him, really. He's Mr. Reliable in the team. He's quality. And there's a reason he's red.
Yeah. And I like that. I like the fact they've given us the opportunity to use those Evos on red picks. I don't particularly think they look very good, actually.
Some of them look terrible.
Some of them look awful. It's like some of the icons look crap. But that's a really good way of showing appreciation to a card that you've got in your team. And I like that. I like that kind of graphic.
I've just got my second one now, and there's no one in my lineup I want to give it to, and I want to put on Marcus Llorente, who's literally on my reserves right now, but he did so well for me for 200 odd games against all these Mbappes and Hansons and stuff. I feel like that's just my way of saying thank you to him.
Club legend.
I'll make him red,
Yeah. Keep him in the club forever. Club legend. Thank you very much. He stays. Exactly. Shane, what about you?
I mean, I'm a little bit biased because I use my Liverpool players amongst my main team as well. And for me, I just enjoy using Thiago. Like I never come up against him.
He's
I just find him a dream in the middle. Like the way he glides around with the ball. He's got the first touch plus, and I just find. I don't really get. I'm not one of these that obsesses over play styles, but it seems to just move with the ball differently. I don't know. I can't. It's hard to explain. He just seems to glide around, and for me, he's still one of my favourite players to use. And I have to go with centre mid Alisson in goals because he's comfortably the best keeper I've used still. And people seem to find it hard to believe that I'm still using him there, but I have no reason to drop him. So they're the two for me. But fraud-wise, I've seen people raving about Blanc, and I could not wait to get him in an SBC quick enough because I just thought he was shit.
Right.
Fully shit. And secondly, not so much shit, but I just found him this year to be nowhere near as good as last, was the Maldini. 92 Maldini SBC that I did. It didn't seem to ever be in the right place for me, which I found weird considering his defensive stats. He just didn't really seem to have the presence this year that he did last year. I found that I had 3-4 centre-backs in my club that I found better to use. So I'd have to say Blanc and Maldini for me for the shit. But Maldini's a harsh one, I will say. Because he is good, but just not as good as I've got.
I think most people would agree with that Maldini as well.
Yeah.
I think that's why they brought two versions of him out with better playstyle. I think they realised they actually fucked him up a bit this year.
Yeah. I want to give a special mention to Sawa because I see a lot of people slating her lately. I think it's just me. I prefer a smaller centre mid. I can't use these big midfielders. I understand why people do, but I personally just can't get on with them. So Sawa for me is again like Thiago. She just seems to be everywhere. She's agile in the middle, and that's just what I prefer. So she's up there for me as well as one of my favourite cards to use at the minute.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen a lot of slander of Sawa, so that's interesting. That
she's horrible to play against.
I think people do it for interactions, but all I see the past week or so is comparing her with flipping Bruno Fernandes.
Right. Miles, what about you?
So, do you know, it's really hard, generally hard for me to single out two cards. Like, I absolutely love it. Love my squad. Absolutely love it to death. But, I mean, my first one that's amazing is actually one that Shane turned me on to and I got in a pack, which is Koulibaly. Now, he used to have that ridiculous run in style that was like a more bent over Haaland style, which was just put me at it was ridiculous. You just couldn't play with it. But this year he hasn't got it. So, and he's such a solid defender. Doesn't do anything wrong. He's currently sitting next to Hullet in centre back, and it's just a dream. Wins everything in the air, and he's just a solid defender.
He is very, very good.
Cannot fault him.
Cool it down.
And the other ones, it's close between SEN Team of the Year. It's a fantastic card, but it's gonna have to go to my girl Basha. I can't So I've tried Davies this week. I've been using him this week. I'm always happy to give him a card. Right? I don't struggle with him. He's all right. Okay, I've got a goal that I'm going to put on Twitter that he scored. It's an absolute screamer. But she takes away so much from my team if she's not in it. I can't not play her. Like anyone that's watched my stream, the amount of times I'll sit there and go, "Oh, she can't tackle anyone. She's not strong enough." As she takes the ball off a bigger attacker and just wanders off of it. Now, I got slandered for this for saying that I preferred her over Davies, but I couldn't give a shit because, like I said, she makes my team better, and I'm not going to drop her out of my team because she offers so much for me going forward, and I can defend with her. It's not the fact that I'm not stupid. I'm not going to run into big people and just run into them and try and take the ball. I'm going to nip it off their toes and walk away with it. It's all about how you use the card, and I use that card very well, and that's why it suits me. I got to 15 and 5 with her in my team, so you can all go fuck yourselves if you don't believe me. It's fine. Now, fraudulent players. One I don't like. So I did pat Messi. I've said it, everything like that. But right, don't get me wrong. He's mental. So he'll score goals that you just shouldn't. No player in the game should score. He has that source that the likes of R9 have, things like that, where they can just score from stupid positions, even with crap shots, and it will just go past the keeper. It's ridiculous. But he isn't my kind of player. Now, I might have to move him to Cam maybe to try and get him sorted, but for me, he's so underpowered. The amount of times he loses the ball or he's not quite in the right position, his work rates aren't great at medium either. So for me, he's the one that I've actually had him out of the team this week, and I put Alex Morgan back in, which is mad to put a woman in, but she's got way more on the ball strength than Messi.
Skill issue.
So yeah, people are gonna we'll probably go, oh, fucking mental, but I don't care because for my team it works better with her in the team than it does to have Messi. So he's one of them. And the next one, well, I'm not saying he's crap. I'm not saying this card is crap by any means because it's a very good card, but I have shown for the last 2 weekend leagues I've got Mbappe team of the week, right? You might think I'm mental that I'm choosing Mbappe and Messi, but I don't care. He hasn't been in my team now, and I don't bring him off the bench or anything. He hasn't been in my team for 2 weeks, and I've had a 14 win and a 15 win, which is the two highest I've had this year, and I've not had him in my team because I feel like if you put him in your team, you rely on him being there, and you feel like you have to use him and you have to utilise him because he's so good. You kind of play towards him. But for me, his record's all right, but Sorloth's my main striker, and when I attack through Sorloth. So having him there doesn't help me because if I'm then trying to look for him, it's counterintuitive to how I play. So that's my two, Messi and Mbappe, and I'll quite happily stand here and take all the mudslinging. I don't care.
If this podcast had comments. The amount of skill issue.
It's on YouTube now, isn't it? So it could very well get comments.
Yeah, but
it's going to be rife. I think. I think for me, I'm going to go. Cafu would be one that is exhibiting a bit of fraudulent behaviour at the moment, and I don't think it's because of the card itself. I think it's because my team seems to be missing one of the key players. And that is Sakina Karchawi at left back. So she is literally
second best left back.
She's literally my favourite left back on the game. Maybe my second favourite card on the game. She is incredible. But I took her out and put Philip Lahm in at left back and Cafu at right back. And Cafu for me is just being absolutely battered by by people. And as soon as I bought Karchawi back in and put Lam at left back, I felt a little bit more solid. Again, probably is a bit of a skill issue, but I very much enjoy using her, and I'm not going to take her out if I don't think that I need to. So fraudulent for one, bit shit. Cafu hit, definitely Karchawi. She's class. Second hit, Joe Cole, base icon. He is what 25k. I had a love affair with Joe Cole last year as well. He is incredible. I can't believe we've missed. Sorry, Leeds have just missed another fucking series. Doing my head in. And Joe Cole is just fantastic. His dribbling's really good. His shooting is better than it looks. His passing's decent. His crossing's good. He's in the right place at the right time whenever I play him in camp. I just really, really, really enjoy using Joe Cole. He's my kind of midfielder. My second fraudulent, again, he's not crap. He's just not doing as much as I would like him to be doing now, is Winter Wildcards Garincha. Now, I put a tweet out of a while ago that got quite a bit of hate with regard to Garincha being way better than Eusebio. Now, I've completely changed my mind on that. Like, completely changed my mind. I've learned how to use Eusebio, and Garincha just seems to be knocked off the ball too much. He's not as strong as I would like him to be. He's not as kind of agile as I would expect him to be. His balance isn't quite there. His shooting's a bit meh. Don't get me wrong, I still use him. I have got Caroline Graham Hansen's team of the week now, so she's taken his place for the moment. But he's just not as kind of effective or as good as I would have expected him to be. So he would be my second one that's exhibiting fraudulent behaviour. So hide your credit cards from all of these players. They'll nick your details. I'm telling you.
Right then, gentlemen, it is time for that part of the podcast where we predict some real-life football scores. Quick overview of last week's results. There was some movement in the table, so we'll start with what scores you got last week. We had a whopping 2 from Mouse. He was only able to get 1 point from the Spurs winning and Liverpool winning. Shane came in with a big 3. He had the Spurs winning, Liverpool winning, and of course Leeds winning, as they seem to do every week right now. And then myself and Ryan both took home a healthy 6 points each. Ryan got 6 points directly from scores. So we had 1 for Spurs, 1 for Liverpool, 3 for West Ham versus Bournemouth, correct result, and 1 for Leeds. Whereas I had the correct result for Spurs versus Brentford, which gave me 3, 1 for Liverpool, and 1 for Leeds, but I did manage to get the bonus point, which was scored in the 3rd minute in West Ham versus Bournemouth, and I had the 4th minute as my predictor. So the table as is Shane is finally up in the 30s on 31. Mouse has dropped down to 3rd on 34. I've moved back up to 2nd on 37, and Ryan's on a big round 40. And you never know, this week could change everything once again. So the games we are going for, lads, are Luton at home against Sheffield, Spurs at home against Brighton, West Ham at home against Arsenal, Villa at home against Manchester United, and then Leeds at home against Rotherham. So Shane has gone first for the last 2 weeks in a row, and I've gone last for the last 2 weeks in a row. So we're going to go me first, Shane last, and I'll decide with you two on the fly. So my scores are 2-1 Luton against Sheffield, 2-1 Spurs against Brighton, 1-1 West Ham versus Arsenal. I feel like they tend to slip up, and they'll probably still be hungover from winning the league as well last week. So 3-1 Villa against Manchester United, and Leeds to beat Rotherham 3-0 with my golden goal coming in the 4th minute. And now I'm going to slide on over to Mouse. And if I can get your scores for Luton versus Sheffield.
1-1.
Nice. Spurs v Brighton.
2-2.
West Ham v Arsenal.
2-2.
Villa v Manchester United.
2-1 Villa.
Up the Villa. And then Leeds versus Rotherham.
1-1.
Ooh. And your golden goal, please, mate.
What did you go with?
I went with 4th again.
13.
13, nice and high. We love to see it. And now we'll move over to the average FC player himself, Ryan. If we could go for Luton versus Sheffield.
1-0 Luton, you cunt.
Spurs versus Brighton.
2-2.
West Ham versus Arsenal.
Sorry.
Shane's gone completely.
I'm actually crying. Okay, right. I've regained composure.
West Ham versus Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal.
Villa v Manchester United.
3-2 Villa.
Leeds versus Rotherham.
3-0 Leeds.
And if I could trouble you for your magic number.
12th minute, please. 12th minute.
So Ryan's gone 12th minute for his magical number. Shane, if we get your scores for Luton versus Sheffield.
3-0 Luton.
Oof. Spurs versus Brighton.
Spurs 2-1.
West Ham v Arsenal.
Arsenal 2-1.
Villa v Manchester United.
Villa 3-2.
And then Leeds versus Rotherham.
Leeds 3-0.
And then that magical golden goal number.
I'm going to say 9.
I think that's a safe one, that is, considering how high the other two went. And that concludes this week's predictions. Hopefully there's some movement in the table. Hopefully I go up and Ryan goes down.
Thank you again for listening to the Lengthy Lads podcast. Make sure you drop us a 5-star review on your podcast platforms. We are newly on YouTube as well, so drop us a subscription on there and comment on the latest pod. That would be amazing. Pass it on to your friends and family. And most of all, keep it lengthy.
It's fucking annoying!